to create our digital t-shirt proofs. This lesson is going to show you how we're going to take your image. Okay, this is the image that you've put together as your first t-shirt design. We've got our file ready to go. We have made sure that our image is, of course, solid black and white, black being what we're going to print with ink, white being the background, the area that's not going to print. So we've got that taken care of. We're also going to make sure that this is the proper image size-wise that we want for our film as well. So again, we're just going to verify to make sure that we're using the correct image here. So I'm going to go to image size, and I'm going to check, yes, this is in fact the image that I'm going to use. It's 8.5 by 11, and it's going to fit perfectly on our piece of film. So this is the image ready to rock and roll that we're going to use for our t-shirt, like I said. So how are we going to create this digital proof? So essentially this project is going to allow you to see what your project is going to look like at the very end. So I've got, again, my t-shirt blank here. Of course, we talked about this already. We've gotten this from SNS Activewear's website. We found the shirt that we're going to use. This one happens to be a Gildan Ultra Cotton Blue t-shirt. And then, again, my Yamaha logo. So we need to get these two pieces together into one document. So I'm going to take my image here, my film, and I'm going to drag and move it into my t-shirt blank. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my background layer over here. I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to move it over, and I'm going to drop it onto my t-shirt blank tab. Now you can see it's in here, right? There's my t-shirt blank, and of course my image for my design. Well, that's way too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out here, and then I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. And that's going to allow me to shrink this down and get it to a more manageable size that's going to be a little bit more realistic to what it's going to look like on my t-shirt as I'm printing. So I'm just going to scale that down, kind of move it over, maybe scale it a little more and move it over, and really kind of get this in here to be roughly the size it's going to look like when I get it printed on my shirt. So once I get that size properly, I'm going to say check mark, and I'm going to like that, and there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I need to kind of start making this look realistic, right? I'm not going to be printing that white box in the background, and I don't want to use black ink for this design. I want to use either white or red. So let's kind of take a look at how we're going to finish this up. On this background layer here, or my logo layer, and I'm going to change this so it doesn't say background anymore. I'm going to double click on the file, the layer name, and just change that to logo. So now I have that layer properly named to represent what is on that layer. So with that now done, I'm going to delete away all of that white space of that background. Again, it's not going to look like that in the final design, so we need to remove that. So for that, I'm going to quickly do that with the magic wand. We've used the magic wand before. So magic wand is going to quickly select that white area in there, and it's going to delete it. Now let's take a look at the magic wand here. And we didn't talk about this earlier, but now's a great time to. So if you look, I first clicked on the white space down here at the bottom. And you can see it hasn't selected all of the white. There's still white in here and white at the top and inside that ring and inside all of the letters there. So one thing that you can do with the magic wand is you can have the magic wand go out and select all of the white everywhere in your entire layer, or you can have it select those individual pieces. So individual pieces, at the ribbon, you're going to leave this button contiguous checked. So when I leave that checked and I click on a white space, like down at the bottom, it's only going to select that area, right? But it doesn't select this white top section here and this top section and in my logo. It doesn't do that. So I'm going to deselect there, Control D, and then I'm going to uncheck contiguous here and look at the difference now. I'm going to click on that same exact area. I'm going to click, and now look at what it does. It goes out and finds all of the white or all of that common color that you've selected, and it's going to select it all at one time. So now you can see it selected the bottom, the two top corners, inside my logo, inside the ring, inside all the letters. So it's a nice little trick to use the magic wand when you quickly want to grab something, okay? Now that I have all of that selected, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit delete. and it's gonna wipe all of that away, okay? It's gonna get rid of all of that white in the background. Again, I don't want it. I'm not going to print that white ink in that background. I just want my image. So I'm gonna say Control D here, and that's going to deselect that space. So now what I can do is I can kind of zoom out a little bit, and I can really kind of see, is this what I want it to look like? Is this properly sized? I think so. It looks pretty appropriate. That's about where it's going to print. But now again, I don't want black ink, I want a different color. So how do we convert this black image that we're gonna use for film into actually the color of ink that we're gonna use? Quite simple. Okay, so there's two ways to select this. Again, you could use the magic wand and you can select that black area, right? And it's gonna select all of the black on that logo background. But here's a cool way to select that same thing now too. On this logo layer, all we have is that logo. There's no background. Everything is all transparent, or it's not even there. So if I want to select everything on a layer, all I have to do is hover over the layer icon right here, or the thumbnail, and hold Control and click on that. And it's going to select everything that's on that layer. So that's a pretty cool little quick key or quick command, if you will, to select everything on that layer. One more time, deselect that, hold Control and click on the little thumbnail on the layer, and it will select everything on that layer. Now I can come in and I can change that color. So to change the color pretty quickly, I'm going to go up to Edit, Fill, and inside the Fill box, I'm going to select Custom. Now click on the little color picker box, and now I can select a color. So like I said, maybe I want to choose red. So I can say red here, or maybe we'll just use this default red down at the bottom. We'll say okay. I'm going to say okay. And there it is, right? So I can deselect, and I've changed that color to red. But now if I'm wondering what does that look like if I make that white ink? Well, pretty simple. I'm going to duplicate the layer. Right click, duplicate. Now I have two. This one I'm going to change this, instead of copy, I'm going to change this to logo white. And I can do the same thing. Control click to select everything. Then I can go back to Edit, Fill. And I can say, I've got a quick little fill with white right here, so that's kind of nice. So I'm going to say fill with white and say okay. And when I deselect, now I can go back and forth and say, you know, what do I like better? Do I like white or do I like red? And you can do this with all kinds of different colors. You can kind of use this as a gauge to, you know, finalize your design. Maybe you didn't even think about a color that you wanted to use. And again, you can kind of see what that's going to look like before you even print the shirt. So this, guys, is how we're going to finalize and put together these digital proofs, okay? Again, we're going to be doing these for all of our t-shirt projects and assignments this semester. So this is it. I'm really liking this. I think I am going to stick with the red. I like that combo. So now that I'm done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say File, Export as, JPEG, and that's going to finalize and finish up my design. And now you have that JPEG saved so you can get that turned in. All right, good luck.